Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm kind of new at this, but there was a serious lack of content on YouTube around turning the Aprilia 457 into a track bike. So I figured I'd just put this little video together on kind of the mods I've gone through so far and things that I'm planning on doing and some of the difficulties that you run into when setting up one of these bikes. It's a great platform. It's got a best-in-class frame. It's got, a factory up-down quick shifter, which is very rare at this class. But at the same time, there's a few quirks here and there that I thought maybe you would be interested in knowing about if you wanted to turn one of these things into a track bike. As you can see, it is not fully complete yet, which is one of the things I am going to get into as far as what your options are when you're trying to put track fairings on this thing and how some of them could be detrimental to you. But I'll just go over a quick overview of the mods I've done here. First things first, spider rear sets. These are great. However, because I don't have a tune yet on this bike or the Aprilia Race ECU, one of the things that you'll have to do if you go with the spider rear sets, if you want GP shift, is you're going to have to change it out for one of these Flyhammer racing shift levers, because the default spider shift lever does not work in GP shift configuration. If you're using the OEM quick shifter, you would have to go with something aftermarket most likely, or when you do get the tune on, or you get the Aprilia Race ECU, whichever suits your fancy. The price difference is kind of negligible if you think about it, because an up map is the module is like $500, and then if you want more than one tune, it comes with one free tune, but if you want another tune, it's going to be another couple $100, and the Race ECU is about 800-ish. So, pick your poison there. I'm deciding to stay with the stock ECU, just in case I ever want to resell this bike or turn it back to street. So, yeah, that's what I've gone with. Spider rear sets, Flyhammer shift lever, set up for GP shift, just because catching up shifts while you're leaned over is much easier that way, as you probably know. As far as up here, we've got a Robum Engineering triple tree. You have a couple of options when you're looking at triples for this bike. The two you're probably going to see most often are going to be the Spider triple, which is a very nice, like CNC machined, very aesthetically pleasing triple tree, but that doesn't really matter so much on this bike. It's never going to see the street. It's never going to be at a bike night. So there's also the Woodcraft, which is a different unit. It's pretty much the same as this Flyhammer. I mean, not this Flyhammer. I'm sorry, this Robum. But the Robum is cool because it has a solution for mounting a Solo 2 mount directly on here, which means I don't have to go with any like funky fork mounted stuff or figure something else out. I could just bolt it right up here, which is nice. For the clip-ons, I went with Woodcraft Zero Offset with the 1.5-inch riser clip-ons. These are nice. I'll get over some of the difficulties I had when I was trying to mount this before I had track fairings on it. It's kind of interesting. Maybe I'll put some pictures up there. For protection, obviously we got Woodcraft case savers. Nothing special there. As for right now, I'm opting to go with the stock seat. I may swap this out for a Superbike seat pan in the future and just go with a foam pad on top, because this seat, although it's comfortable, it's a little bit too squishy, which makes it difficult for me to slide around on the seat when I'm just trying to get side to side on the bike. What else has been done on this bike? Right now, still stock grips, brake lever guard. RS457 Brembo brake master cylinder. This is much better than the stock unit. It's radial mount instead of axial pull, radial pull instead of axial pull rather. I'll go into some of the clearance issues I had when this still had stock fairings on it. With this setup, I've got Ferodo brake pads. You can't really see them right now. what else is going into this bike. I have K-Tech cartridges that are at my suspension guy's place right now. Just waiting on the rear shock to get in so I can get them done both at the same time. And that is going to be an Öhlins STX46 unit, which you cannot see on Öhlins' site for this bike if you are in the US. Right now, I don't think they directly distribute that shock to the US for this bike. However, you can get it through some distributors like Adriani here in the US, and my suspension guy ordered it through them. They are built to order, so if you are planning on doing one and you have the money in hand, I would go ahead and put in an order because it's going to take you at least a month to get one. That's another quirk with the Robum triple over something like a Woodcraft triple, is that these are also built to order. So if you're gonna buy one, give yourself at least a month time. So just in case you have like a race coming up and you want to get the bike ready to go, you might have to maybe go with a different option like a Woodcraft or a Spider, something more readily available. These guys, if you don't know who Robum Engineering is, they are a race team here in the US. In Moto America, they have a very successful Twins Cup team on their RS660s, and they make parts for the 660, the 457, the R7, I think a couple other bikes as well. I could be wrong about that, but check them out. They're awesome. They answer your questions when you have them. Just all-around good people. It's going to get a keyless ignition at some point. I just didn't see the point right now. I'm still waiting on a couple other things to get done first, like the suspension. But one of the things that really was kind of annoying is when I had this master cylinder put on, when these bars were still at stock height on the stock triple tree with the stock bars, it cleared fine for the most part. But the reason for that is that they're a lot further swept back. And when I had these installed, when I had the clip-ons installed, still on the stock fairings, in order for me to clear the fairing when the bar was at lock like this, I basically had to have the bars very swept back. I'm talking like mid-2000s, 600 swept back, super uncomfortable position, kind of not a modern position for the bars. I like my bars personally nice and wide. Gives me a lot more leverage on the bike. It's a lot more comfortable when you're leaned off the bike. So I cut into those fairings again because I bought this bike used with the complete intention of turning this into a track bike. So I didn't really care if I messed up the stock fairings, but it got to the point where, yes, I had cut off enough from this part of the fairing for it to work, but the bottom part here was like giving me absolutely no clearance if I had the lever in a somewhat decent position when rolling off the throttle. So that's something to look out for. If you really are intending to turn this into a track/race bike, I highly recommend going with aftermarket race fairings. These here are Armor Bodies fairings, which you can get through Woodcraft or through Sport Bike Track Gear. The fitment, as you can see, is pretty damn good. The holes were mostly pre-drilled. I had to open them up a little bit. The mount for the seat unit is actually kind of interesting. Let me pull this cover off so you can see it. So you take the rear seat lock off, and you'll expose some bolts under here that you use to lock this. It'll come with this little mounting piece for the fairing kit. And then make sure you still have your stock rear seat. If you don't have your stock rear seat, go find it somewhere or try to find a used one, because you need the little plate that is attached to the bottom of it so that the seat has something to stay on with. And you bolt that on here. So consideration, if you swapped out for a rear cowl at some point for a single-seater, go find your rear seat. Hopefully you didn't throw it away. Hopefully you didn't sell it, but you'll need that. Again, I might go with a Superbike seat pan instead, just because ergonomically for me, when I'm moving around on the bike, this is a little bit too squishy for me right now. Maybe I'll get it refoamed, something a little denser, but right now it works for me. Note that the Armor Bodies fairing kit do not come with a tank cover. It doesn't really need one anyway. This is plastic. This is not a metal tank. We got stomp grips. These are the tires that came on the bike when I bought it used. They are M7RRs. They're alright. Not the biggest fan. More protection. We got Woodcraft axle, front and rear. And that's it. That's it. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll read your comments as much as I can. This is Alex. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye. One more thing I forgot to mention. One of the considerations you're going to have to make when you install track fairings is what exhaust you want. Because that stock exhaust right there, that does not fit with the belly pan, at least not on the Armor Bodies ones. And I can tell you exactly why. Look at the size of that freaking monstrosity of a muffler. So you're gonna have to get something that's high mount. There's a couple options out there. Obviously, there's the SC Project, there's the MIV high mount, there's the Dominator one, there's the GPR, I think also makes a high mount. But try to stick to a high mount. I'm not sure if like the SC low mount will work with a belly pan. Kind of looks a little on the iffy side. I probably wouldn't chance it, especially spending $1,000 on something you're not sure if it's going to fit or not. But the high mounts for sure will work. But yeah, other mods that I have come in the future besides the exhaust, I might do the front caliper. I might go with something else, but we'll see. Right now, even with the Brembo RCS, even though this is way better than what the stock setup was like, especially with the actual track pads that I have on here now, it still doesn't bite as much as I'd like it to. So I may actually switch the front caliper at some point, but that's money I don't need to spend right now. I am going to get some steering stops because right now this sweep is just a little bit too much for my liking. So I have a pair of Spider Racing steering stops, which will be bigger and will maybe get rid of some of the clearance issues I still have. So right now the reservoir, as you can see, it kind of touches the display. It's not that big of a deal. This is a track bike. It's never really going to be a lock like that, but just in case of a crash, I prefer it not to like spit brake fluid all over the place and, you know, possibly damage the dash. So that's something coming down the pipe. What else? I think that's really it. But yeah, good stuff. Bye-bye.